Mohan Guruswamy's revelation. Mohan Guruswamy. The RSS had zero role in Hyderabad's accession to India. The peripatetic Telangana BJP chief Bandi Sanjay Kumar has once again demanded that the state government must celebrate the liberation of Hyderabad from the Nizam's yoke, something in which the RSS had no role to play. It's like them wanting to celebrate August 8th as Fit India Day, which the RSS had opposed. It is now 74 years since the largest princely state in British India was integrated into India on September 17, 1948. Few now celebrate the hoisting of the tricolour here. We who were born here and have deep roots here take this day as another event in the passage of history. The Hyderabad which was liberated does not even exist. But what do these Johnny come lately Bundis know? They are prisoners of habit, habituated to fashioning lies into a self-serving history. Hence, it is ironical that the RSS, which never allowed the tricolour to be hoisted on Hegdevar Bhavan, its headquarters in Nagpur, wants to celebrate the hoisting of the tricolour in Hyderabad on September 17, 1948 as Liberation Day. On the eve of independence, RSS mouthpiece organizer wrote, "The people who have come to power by the kick of fate may give in our hands the tricolour, but it never be respected and worn by Hindus. The word three is in itself an evil, and a flag having three colours will certainly produce a very bad psychological effect and is injurious to a country." The tricolour went up Hegdevar Bhavan only on January 26, 2001, when three young men belonging to the Rashtrapremi Yuvadal forcibly hoisted the national flag on the edifice. The truth of the matter is that the RSS never took part even in the Quit India movement of 1942 or in any anti-feudal liberation movement anywhere in the country. It made an abortive attempt to inveigle itself in the 1942 movement in the 1990s, when it began to peddle a tale about the young Atal Bihari Vajpayee's participation in Quit India activities in Bhateswar. It ended with egg on its face when the Frontline published young Vajpayee's confessional statement, where he excluded himself from the events, affirming he was a mere onlooker. Apart from Hyderabad, Jammu and Kashmir and Junagadh did not accede to the newly independent India in 1947. Jammu and Kashmir did so only on October 26, 1947, when the Pakistani raiders began knocking on the gates of Srinagar. The Nawab of Junagadh actually acceded to Pakistan, but a popular upsurge forced him to flee with his kennel of loud canniness to Pakistan. A referendum held on September 15, 1947, ratified the accession. But the RSS never celebrates Kashmir's accession on October 26th and Junagadh's on September 15 as liberation days. It wants to celebrate Hyderabad's accession on September 17, 1948, in which it had no role, just as it tries to appropriate a role in the nationalist movement. It's also a proxy attack on Hyderabad's substantial Muslim community represented by a reinvented Majlis-e-Ittihad al-Muslimin MIM. At the time of India's independence, Hyderabad was the largest Indian princely state in terms of population and GNP. Its territory of 82,698 square miles was more than that of England and Scotland put together. The 1941 census had estimated its population to be 16.34 million. Over 85% of who were Hindus, and with Muslims accounting for about 12%. It was also a multilingual state consisting of peoples speaking in Telugu 48.2%, Marathi 26.4%, Kannada 12.3%, and Urdu 10.3%. It was a Muslim-dominated state, and its vast Hindu majority was generally excluded from government. It was a mirror image of Jammu and Kashmir, which was a Hindu-dominated fiefdom. Hyderabad had its Hindu nobility, and a couple of them even rose to become prime ministers. Maharaja Chandulal was prime minister from 1833 to 1844 during the rule of Sikandar Jah. Sir Kishan Prasad was the prime minister from 1902 till 12. Nevertheless, it was the government of the Muslims and by the Muslims. Records of 1911 show that 70% of the police, 55% of the army, and 26% of the public administration posts were held by Muslims. In 1941, a report on the civil service revealed that of the 1,765 officers, 1,268 were Muslims, 421 were Hindus, and 121 others, presumably British, Christians, Parsis, and Sikhs. Of the officials drawing a pay between 600 to 1200 per month, 59 were Muslims, 38 were others, and a mere 5 were Hindus. The Nizam and his nobles, who were mostly Muslims, owned 40% of the total land in the kingdom. The BJP's only power base is in the world city of Hyderabad, which is the political domain of the MIM, its mortal enemy. The nature of its power here is best symbolized by how it managed to inflict a temple on the southeast corner of the Charminar, and where it still grows like a fungus right under the nose of the Charminar police station. The first stirrings of political activity in the Asabja kingdom began in 1927, when the MIM was formed to unite various Islamic sects for the solution of their problems within the principle of Islam and to protect the economic, social, and educational interests of the Muslims. They presumably were affected by the happenings in Turkey and the direction the Khilafat movement took in India when it allied with the Congress and joined the nationalist movement in 1920. The MIM soon became a movement to establish an Islamic state in Hyderabad. In 1933, an association of Mulkis or local born Hindus and Muslims called the Nizam's Subjects League was formed as a reaction to the continued domination of Gair Mulkis, mostly Muslim and Hindu kayasthas from what is now UP in government. This was soon to be known as the Mulki League. It was the Mulki League that first mooted the idea of a responsible government in Hyderabad. In 1937, the Mulki League split between the more radical elements who were mostly Hindus and the more status quo inclined. This led to the formation of the Hyderabad People's Convention in 1937, a prelude to the establishment of the Hyderabad State Congress the following year. With this, the movement for political and constitutional reform picked up momentum. The RSS did not exist in Hyderabad even on paper. The Hindu nationalist rump was of the Hindu Mahasabha and mostly confined to Marathwada. The Hyderabad State Congress agitation coincided with a parallel agitation led by the Arya Samaj and Hindu Mahasabha of V.D. Savarkar on Hindu civil rights. To a large extent, the interests of the Congress and Hindu organizations coincided. This put them squarely against the Majlis, who were now led by Bahadur R. Jung, who was also the founder of the Anjuman e Tabligh e Islam, a proselytizing Muslim organization whose prime activity was the conversion of Hindus. Bahadur Yar Jung was a charismatic figure who became popular among the Muslims and had the ear of the Nizam Usman Ali Khan. Bahadur Yar Jung summed his goal very succinctly. The Majlis policy is to keep the sovereignty of His Exalted Highness intact and to prevent Hindus from establishing supremacy over Muslims. The leadership of the Congress took more nationalist overtones after the arrival of Swami Ramananda Tirtha on the scene. Tirtha hailed from Gulbarga and as a young man became a sadhu. He became president of the Hyderabad Congress in 1946 and attracted around him several young men who rose to prominence in independent India. Foremost among these was P.V. Narasimha Rao. Others were former chief ministers Shankar Rao Chauhan, Virendra Patil and Marri Channa Reddy. While the Congress was gaining strength, the communists were also active in the Telugu-speaking areas. They captured the Andhra Mahasabha that was formed in 1921 to represent the interests of the Telugu-speaking people in 1942. Unlike the Hyderabad Congress, which launched a movement for democratic rights to run parallel to the Quit India movement, the communists tacitly joined hands with the Majlis to support the Nizam, who was being a faithful ally of the British. The communists will deny this, but the fact is that, like the Muslim League and RSS, they too opposed the Quit India movement. Accession brought in its wake the changes that were sought ever since political activity began in the state. The Muslim elite soon found themselves marginalized and many migrated to Pakistan. Others like Ali Awad Jung made a smooth transition into the new order. A new bureaucrat elite was quickly installed even as the communist insurrection was being quelled. The Muslim feudal regime was replaced by a government enjoying the people's mandate. The RSS had nothing to do with it.